Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Commissioner meeting on the third day, remember 1974? Didn't have that. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, we've approved the minutes from the March 20th meeting. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll approve the minutes from March the 20th as submitted.
I second that.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we approve the accounts payable vouchers.
I move we approve the accounts payable vouchers as submitted.
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we'll approve the payroll docket.
Motion to approve payroll docket.
I second that.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's done. Aaron Thomas. Hi.
So I think you have there in front of you the paperwork that we sent over. Obviously, you all are familiar with Catch a Ride. We provide public transportation available to anyone for any purpose. And starting last year, NDOT started requiring these forms to be signed by each of the counties that we operate in. Just basically saying that you designate us as the federal transportation provider in your area because it is a competitive grant. It does look a little bit different this year because in years past, we have been required to have a pass-through, which was historic Hoosier Hills. In 2026, they're actually allowing us to apply directly, so we're removing that sort of third party from the mix, which should help streamline things for us as well. So it does look slightly different from last year just because there's no mention of historic Hoosier Hill as the grantee and then us as the provider. But yeah, it just basically designates us and says that you give approval for us to apply for the grant and that you are happy for us to provide the service here.
I didn't see it says happy, but I agree. It just, we add that. Therefore, we was all are happy to.
Exactly.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
We're all happy.
We're all happy.
Do we have to sign? No.
He does.
No, that's right. He does. So I'll be happy and make a motion that we approve the authorizing resolution that designates Catch a Ride as the organization to apply for federal transit administration grants.
I will happily second that motion.
We're also happy to say that
Excellent.
we have somewhat recently, one of the problems with Catch a Ride is that folks find it difficult sometimes to have exact change. And it's also difficult for us to manage change because we have, nearly 50 drivers across 6 counties and it's, it's enough for them to collect the fares, much less try to have to manage change. And so we actually now have the ability for people to prepay for fares online. So that's really helpful for those who use the system a lot and find it difficult to have exact change. Also, we've been working on a grant with Bethany Legacy Foundation, and we're doing a marketing. We got a marketing grant basically, and so we've done some testimonial videos and some kind of just basic information about how to use the system, kind of getting rid of hopefully some of those misconceptions about Catch a Ride and really helping people figure out how to use it well and things like that. So you should start seeing those coming out soon if you follow us on Facebook or anything like that. And then other than that, all I want to say is that we're always looking for drivers. So if you know of anybody who might be just looking for part-time or even occasional work, please send them our way because we've struggled with drivers the last few years. So
Just happy drivers.
happy drivers, yes, that's right.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Need my signature.
Thank you very much. You'll just email me this copy. Okay.
So paying online, you think there'd be like Catch a Ride pass that would get scanned and,
So what it does is we create an account, each person has an account.
okay, so just all.
And so it just has a total and we just eat away at the balance as we schedule
Okay.
future rides. So they don't even have to have a card or
I see.
anything like that. So it's pretty convenient.
Almost like the toll system on the road, you put so much
Yeah,
in there and then it gets.
Yeah. So we're happy about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That one wasn't even intentional.
Stay dry.
Yeah, you say so.
Mr. Copeland, this one, got one in each corner, this Copeland.
I fell asleep, sir.
All right,
Yeah, okay.
I'll wake you up in just a little bit. Hi, Gary.
Hello, hello. Nice to have you in front of happy commissioners.
There you go, that's right.
Okay, now this is just some examples of signs, not in our area, but. Okay. Now, I want to start with, I don't know, I know one or two of you guys have heard this before, but I'll go over it again. Cemetery signage came to my attention from a few constituents, and, you know, they had heard of some, not so nice, stuff happening at cemeteries. And, there's only a 0.2% of our population that, does this, but unfortunately, there is that 0.2% of our population that desecrates cemeteries or, you know, abuses their privileges there. So they brought it to my attention, and that's why I wanted to go this direction and see if it could work. We'll start on the first page. Now, these are signage suggestions, like dawn to dusk, no vehicle to be driven in a cemetery at a pace faster than a walk, 10 mile an hour speed limit, maintain a respectful attitude and volume, no recreational use of cemetery or recreational activities such as a frisbee or sports, no all-terrain vehicles, bicycles, rollerblades, skates, and other recreational modes by transport by visitors. Although I'll get to my meeting with the cemetery board, but they was not completely in favor of banning all-terrain vehicles. They said, you know, some people, you know, are respectful with them, I guess. But, you know, that's questionable. And then a no unleashed animals permitted. Now, all this doesn't have to go on the sign if we choose to do this, but these are some suggestions. I just wanted you guys to see that. And ultimately, I think it'll be your decision to decide which, if we go ahead with this, what we want to put on the sign. And then let's go on to the signage. I talked to Dave earlier, I did get another quote, but we can't beat all signs. I tried. But these are a custom reflective sign, and they're single-sided and 3 to 3.99 square feet. Reflective sheeting, you know, the shape would be a rectangle square, 18 by 24, standard radius corners, standard holes. Background would be white, text color black. And I want to thank Jason for helping me with the whole signage info. He helped a lot on this. And we came to a decision that as many cemeteries as there are right now, and you know, the cost-effective way would be to go with the most prominent 20 cemeteries that the cemetery board and maybe the commissioners would agree on putting them, instead of going for all the cemeteries, because as you will see in a minute, I'll get to the cemeteries, and we have a lot of cemeteries and in this county, more than most people would expect, and it just, some of them are just 2 or 3 stones, and we can't, you know, get to them by a road. Some of them are even between some houses, believe it or not. So I've learned a lot from the cemetery board, and that's a great group. They can teach you a lot about what goes on and how to maintain a cemetery and everything else. But along with the signage, now the signage right now would be around $674.48 for those 20. So
that's as well as good a quote as I could get on that. Then, of course, we're gonna need post, and I talked to Bobby a little earlier, and he told me that wooden posts would be more aesthetic. And I agree with that, so I went that direction at Lowe's. And, 4 by 4 inch, 8 feet. Now we don't have to go to Southern Yellow, we could varnish them or whatever they wanna do with that. But, now that price is $579 for 50, and we'd want, some extra, just to be sure, in case one of them broke or something. But this is a real good start. And then we're looking at, the next page is all the cemeteries. And like I say, the 20 that are picked would be up to you and the cemetery board if you wanted to do that. And then the cemetery board would like me to ask you guys to make an ordinance as well. And I would leave that, like I say, in your ballpark or court or whatever you guys want to call it, to decide on that. They really want that. And at this time, the cemetery board, and they have a lot of work coming up. I'm trying to do this with all county money because they need to hold on. They're good stewards of their budget, very good stewards of their budget, and they got a lot of stuff, with mowing and repairs coming up. And then, of course, those are some examples of some signs, just in other cemeteries. A lot of cemeteries do have rules and regulations. So that's about it, unless you got some questions.
Yeah, there's quite a few cemeteries.
Yeah. I didn't realize there was that many cemeteries in the county. A real education.
How many do you want to be in?
Well, altogether, it's very,
37 that the cemetery board cares for, but there's another 26 that are.
26.
No, another 37. That's
There's actually 38.
Oh,
Yeah.
so 74.
Wow.
So they don't care for how many.
There's actually 38, because there's one on here behind my house.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Listed
There you
on
go.
Actually 39.
There's another one that I know.
I see one missing out by my house.
Oh, my.
2 missing.
Actually, another, there's one on Pleasant
Right.
Ridge too,
Is there?
right there by the road, yep.
So, if things get more lucrative, maybe we can move on to do this to other cemeteries too, if we decide to do this to these predominant 20, but it's a start. And,
Yeah, some of these are full.
right, right, absolutely, right. That's right.
Waiting list.
Well, I think we can talk to the cemetery board, 'cause like I said, let them pick.
Yes.
Because they know where the issues are and get started there and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a,
We can talk to Pat about an ordinance, so.
and I think I hope that I've relayed everything that they said. But I think we can go from there and just see what you guys come up with, and we'll wait for the answer.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. It's a good idea.
And I'm sure, like you had mentioned, there were some certain cemeteries that had experienced this, so those are probably the easy ones to pick to start putting signs up and then.
Yes, yeah, and I don't wanna talk about the bad stuff, but there are people, unfortunately, that will do things, in a cemetery. And, this is just something out of respect for our loved ones and veterans and everybody that's laid to rest.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yes, thanks, Gary.
Mhm.
Yep, Lindsay. There you are.
Just jumping.
So Sarah asked me if
Jumping
I
in.
could print these, and I said yes, and then I printed them for myself.
You did.
So, sorry.
You're not sorry. It's all right.
We're good.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about some of our agreements that we've made with some of the Health First funding. All of them have a little bit of a different title. One of them is an agreement, one of them is a memorandum of understanding, and the other one is a contract. All of these have been sent to Pat. I haven't heard any negative feedback, so, and they all follow this similar structure and contents and requirements that the past ones that he's approved have followed, so. So the first one is a memorandum of understanding, and they each kind of chose what they preferred them to be called based off of their organization and structure and what they felt like would be better approved from their perspective. So, the CAC, it's a MOU to expand the educational services that they do in the school systems and with providers.
All the school systems, you know, my question's.
They're working on getting into some of the school systems.
I know,
It's not a
I ask them
clear
every time, and they're like, well, okay.
They've met some roadblocks, so to
Really?
speak, at some of the schools. So, or at least one of the schools that they're trying to get in. But basically it's just expanding the trauma and injury prevention education that they do in the schools, and then also doing the mandatory reporting training for adults that care for kids. So that one was already signed by myself and Sarah Brichto, the executive director for CAC here, and it was for $30,000. I can print out and amend it if you'd like to give you a signature spot, but it does not have one at the moment.
I just have one question on it.
Yes.
All that goes for education or for the children or in some
So-
way? I mean, it won't be
Yes. it
something
has-
earmarked pulled up for something else.
Yes, so in their contract, they have to maintain their financials for 3 years. And they have to, basically, they have to report to us on a quarterly basis about which, like, basically the core services and how that meets the Health First funding requirements. And, there's a statement in here that they can forfeit the funding and have to return it if they don't follow the contract for the MOU. The next one, go
The
ahead.
first sentence in the statement of work said the CAC will direct all funding received from Jefferson County Health Department in the amount of $30,000 to use for youth-based prevention programming intended to bring education and awareness, so.
Yes, I was very deliberate with my wills and shalls and mays. So,
Good job.
Thanks.
the next one is an agreement letter between the health department and Infants in Bloom. The primary objective, have they been and presented with you guys yet, or no? Infants in Bloom?
Yes.
Next meeting, okay. So, we are their trial run.
The guinea pig.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so it's a brand new organization, they've just created it. Their whole focus is infants that are born with substance use disorder. And they follow this infant regardless of if they're in the home with the parent or in the home with,
Someone else.
someone else, yeah. So they still provide the services, they're in the house on a weekly basis with these babies, they follow them for an extended period of time, they make sure that their health needs are met. We've also partnered with them to hold on to some of their VFCs, so Vaccines for Children, it's a free vaccine program through the state, so since we already meet the requirements for the VFC program, we house their vaccine at the health department. They're in Jefferson County and Switzerland County, and they're working on, I think, Johnson County, to try to get in there as well. But this is basically everything that they stand for, goes right along with the Health First funding. We're talking maternal and child health, working on, if there's some sort of addiction needs for the parent, or even if it's like tobacco cessation and prevention, one of the core services, is tobacco, one of them is trauma and injury prevention, which can go along with substance use and abuse. And then maternal and child health is one, immunizations is one, so we're listing off several core services. So this was just a great opportunity to partner and get a program up and running that sets a really good framework for being, standing on their own feet later. So I really think that this is a program that is worth the investment because they have a really great strategy to be sustainable on their own in the future. And those kind of projects make me happy. I like seeing something that, that they've worked to
Happy
figure
is
out
the word of the
it's a
evening,
word.
okay, so that's right. Good to work it in there.
to find something that has a game plan that wants to sustain themselves and figured out how to make that happen, I think is worth the investment. So we put $60,000 towards their cause with some of the same stipulations of if you break a contract, you will have to give the money back or forfeit any future money or, something along those lines. It kind of leaves it open to however we decide. And then this one actually did leave us space for your signature. The bottom one's for Heather.
Okay.
Alright, and the last one is a contract between the Freedom Center and Southeast Indiana Transitional Resources, the Jefferson House, and the Health Department. So this goes towards the trauma and injury prevention core service. And the main objective here is just acknowledging that we think substance use and abuse is a determining factor in the current and future health outcomes of Jefferson County, and some other, guiding principles and values is what they're called in the document that I sent you guys. This is for their freedom recovery groups that's paid for to the Freedom Center. So the first payment was actually made by the Jefferson House. So when we made our first payment, it went as a reimbursement to the Jefferson House for what they had paid out already. And then we have an extra $4,000 for individual, just to make it an even 30. So in July, we're going to do another $13,000, but this time it will go directly to the Freedom Center. The studies have just shown that there's a significant, that basically recovery and programs for recovery and the groups themselves are a great support system and kind of help reduce the recidivism rate. So I think this is a great partnership, so we did a $30,000 with that one as well, with this funding.
Good idea.
So how do they come to you? Do you come put your feelers out to figure out who's doing these things? How is it? I know
So
if it's,
some of them are.
I mean, if it's anything like us, when you get money, they're like, yeah, we'll. So that may be, but.
Word hasn't made its way around, but some of these were people that we had already been seeing
Okay.
what we could work with and what we could do to help each other for a while.
Just to take advantage of this.
So, Dr. Holly worked with Dr. Sue as a pediatrician here in the county, so Jefferson County was definitely a place where she wanted to start Infants in Bloom because it's somewhere she's familiar with, and they've, maintained a decent relationship over the years. So when she came up with this new thing, it was something that she had already kind of presented and we had talked about, and then the funding kind of
became
Showed up.
available, so,
Yep, and
well,
then,
it just showed up. Oh, look at this.
when it first started getting talked about, we said, we talked about the possibility of this working out. And then, the Jefferson House, I feel like they've done a really great job here recently. Brian does a great job with
No,
this
just
one.
recently, but they've done a good job.
They've done a
for-
great job for a long time. I think
Yeah. I think
they've done
keep funding.
I think we're gonna see some really great numbers and their percentages of graduates and stuff here in the future, I think.
I think they have, you
They've
know,
had it for a while,
yeah, I mean, so when we.
It's been more consistent than not, which is really.
Yeah, I
cool.
think the size has a lot to do with that, because when we started doing the initial jail studies, we had one of their board members with us just to say, okay, what can we do? Is there anything we can do? And when we designed this to try to take advantage of some of the things that they learned, and some of it was, it's hard, and you would like to say, well, let's just double the size. Well, sometimes that's not gonna help, because it is the intimacy of the relationships there, and as the numbers grow, then that obviously would not be as like that. And
It's
then,
not as close knit.
yeah, and they would say there were times that, a person would get to the end of their time there, they would do something out of order just so they could get recycled, because they weren't ready to go out, and so that says,
It says good things about them, but it shows a little bit of concern that maybe it wasn't so long enough, and I
right,
think
well, and then
they've
they,
started expanding that now.
yeah, well, they bought the other house there on Jefferson Street to make it the 3/4 house.
Yeah, so they have more of a graduate
Sure,
level.
and there's a guy out there with the last name of Quarter that wants a quarter house, but it's not named after him, it's a 1/4, not a, which,
Not a full quarter.
yeah.
So we're optimistic about some of the data and stuff that we're gonna get back from this, and seeing maybe some of the direct input. Just basically seeing the direct correlation between where the
And-
spending went and how it affects the core services and ultimately affects Jefferson County.
And I think that's probably a lot of what the whole bill was to do. Let's see, we have these ideas, we think these are things that will make life better. Put some money behind it and see what happens.
Yeah, and the
So-
tracking of the core services was a really big thing that they definitely wanted to see. So these organizations also have a spreadsheet that lays out not only what the core services, but exactly what they're asking of the health department to track, the exact data points they're asking to track, so they're able to track that themselves and send that in as well, so. Any questions?
Appreciate you.
There's the signed copies, I'm pretty sure.
Thank you.
Have some appointments. Cemetery Board appointment, Jane Rosenberger, filling a vacancy on the board. The term will expire December 31st, 2025. And the Health and Human Relations Commission, Stephanie Godward.
Want to do them both at the same time?
Either one of them, we don't have to worry about one of us being on there, so we can do it.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we appoint Jane Rosenbarger to the cemetery board for a term that will expire December 31st, 2025, and Stephanie Godward to the Health and Human Relations Commission. We're looking at our terms to make sure, but it'll either be for a year or for 2 years. We have to look at those. But
I second your motion.
Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we have our annual conflict of interest forms. First one is Brett Roberts, independent contractor for Dingus Fire Company, sells safety equipment. Want to do that one?
Sure, I have to do that one separate from the second one, so. I move we accept the conflict of interest form for Brett Roberts and his being an independent contractor for the Nicholas Fire Company.
I'll second that motion.
The discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
In the end, Commissioner Robert Little works part-time for Electrotech, installs cameras, security systems, and general electric needs.
So move we accept the conflict of interest form for Commissioner Robert Little and his part-time work for Electrotech.
I'll abstain.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, department updates. Who wants to go first? Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Come on,
She's
Trish.
looking around, she's ready to go. What, you got someplace to be?
No,
Are you happy?
yes,
Okay.
very happy.
That's how we're gonna start.
Look at it. So, the big thing is the gutters that we had work done on.
Not talking about any of the animal.
No, but
Meanness.
we were dry inside finally. It was first
First time, right?
rain. Then we've been completely dry inside, so.
You're
they
plenty
did
of
their
testing
job.
this weekend, that's for sure.
We still have concerns about the propane tank in the backyard. It's starting to sink a little bit more. I've been talking, with, oh gosh, it's the company that builds it. Name's escaped.
Sit next to your,
Incinerator.
Yeah,
no, next to your. I thought you were talking about the restaurant. No, it's not that guy over there.
No.
So-
no.
Isn't it out of Seymour?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just-
It's right there on the tip of
Incentive.
my tongue, I can't, well, anyway, he's been coming out and he was talking about getting us a bigger tank for the front yard, you know, and just replacing him
For the
hauling
front
off
yard.
both of them.
That's a little tacky.
And then for the tank in the back, for like us giving him that tank, he would dig a better line and all this stuff. So I've been talking to him, but where I'm at a dilemma is finding out where all our utility line, or actually it's the water line that comes out of that side of the building, which way does it really go? Because I'm still getting conflict of interest, you know, or some say it goes towards Ivy Tech, some says it goes back towards Springs Drive, some says it goes right up to the road. I
Could
don't
we-
know how I can get,
Let
I
him
guess
dig, he'll find it, guaranteed.
That is one way, yes. And we call it, was it 811?
Yeah, well, see, I called them and they can come out to a certain point. They can't get close to the building to show me what's there. They tell me I need to hire somebody with a pipe detector or a machine to come out.
Metal
and actually-
detector?
Uh,
A metal detector?
well, it's something, they said there was something that,
Water witch.
yeah. But
You
no,
do that too?
Do some divining on some.
it said it.
Divine intervention?
They said it was like a sonar thing that would reflect off which way the pipe actually went.
So,
But it would be up to us because they, I guess the pipes were so far back that they don't have record of where they're at. The 811.
so he's wanting to redo the lines into the building?
Yeah, he would have to if we got a bigger tank because if we got just the one big tank, we're gonna have to send a line to the incinerator and a line to the building off of that one tank.
Gotcha.
Where right now, one line goes this way and one line goes that way.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how, or anyone that might know how to figure out where the pipes are.
Because again, he can figure them out. You might wanna have the water company on standby, because
Well,
shut
the
it off.
city even come up there and two of the city people were confused at which direction.
No, I meant once he hits them, they'll have to shut the water off, that's.
Gotcha,
what-
okay. I know how to turn the water off,
Shut it off.
No, okay, well, that's another
That's
issue.
that's
isn't
the
it?
hiccup.
but I'm
Well,
just
I mean, if we're
looking
gonna-
for-
We should know on a new animal shelter, should we do
Well,
a new tank?
okay, if I, he won't fill that tank up.
Oh, I see, okay, there's another,
So,
I see.
so I can't use the incinerator then at all, cause we're at a point now that the incinerator can't be turned on again for another run, so,
So we need to stabilize the tank
Yeah.
out there, that's what we need to do?
yeah, or something. I need a solution, cause what I thought was my solution is now not an option, cause I can't figure out where the pipes are.
So what,
So if you stabilize the tank, will they fill it?
He said he'll do it up to like 50%. He don't wanna fill it full, cause he's really scared that it's just gonna sink and tip. And then we'll be in a mess of trouble if it does that.
So is it empty now?
It's close, it's like at 12%.
I just wondered, could we unhook it, move it, build something there
Put a
that's
pad.
stable, put its pad down and then,
And that would be my next,
I hate to put, if we're gonna do anything, I hate to,
yeah, I know, but I hate to,
waste it.
right, but,
and then I talked to y'all before about feral cats. The cat season is upon us, feral cat season is upon us. I had so many scratches, bruises, and bite marks last year from dealing with feral cats that we're scared to do them again. So until I can come up with a better solution on dealing with these cats, we're halting intake of any feral cat, strayer or owned.
I don't think you have any choice, right? So,
It was such a rough last year, because the big part was getting them fixed so that I could get them out to barns and stuff like that. So we were having to house them for like 3 months before we could get them fixed, to get them, to be able to send them out the door. And trying to keep a wild cat in a little cage is very hard to make sure they're clean. It was quite a struggle.
You shouldn't have to put you and the other staff at risk of,
Yeah.
because they're pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Make nasty places, don't they?
Yes, it's not something fun to deal with.
Have you reached out, has anybody else ideas what they're doing, or?
Most of the places, they'll have a vet on staff, and so they're doing trap neuter release, where they're trapping them on a scheduled day. They're fixing them in their shelters and then sending them right back out the next day, back to where they came from. A lot of people are kind of iffy on if that's a good idea, if that's really something we should be doing. And then like bigger places in Indianapolis, they are just returned to field. So they don't even care if there's a caregiver taking care of these cats. They fix them and put them right back in the field. So, it's kind of a reverse of trap neuter release, because with trap neuter release, you have somebody that's making sure they're being taken care of, feeding them and all this, and then RTF is we just send them back out the door. And then a bunch of shelters in Kentucky that's right near us and Switzerland are now they're like not accepting cats whatsoever, because it's just hard for them to keep up with the cats. So I'm still looking into like viable options, and hopefully I'll figure out a solution soon. But I've been thinking about this problem though since last year when we were going through all this.
with all the
I still
cuts,
haven't come up with
scrapes.
a program where I feel comfortable stepping behind. So, but I'm continually working in on that, but I just want to make the announcement that we're not gonna accept the feral cats. So someone loaned us a trailer so that we could haul our cans back and forth for recycling. They're getting ready to need that trailer back, so I might be looking into purchasing or finding a trailer, if that's okay, just to help us continue getting it's well worth it, the cans. Especially right now with them being 89 cents a pound.
Really?
Mhm.
We have a trailer.
Oh, that's right, what we're thinking.
What size?
Bye-bye.
Now I'm really happy.
All right,
Bye-bye.
excellent,
That's exactly what we have, so that,
sold, it's all yours.
Look at you go, Sarah. No room.
Anything else that we can solve?
I just, River Terrace Health Campus is putting on a fish fry on Friday. Proceeds will go
You're gonna take
to,
the cats there? Oh, no.
will go to the Friends of the Jefferson County Animal Shelter, a nonprofit organization, which helps the shelter, just make that announcement. And then if y'all looking for a new tattoo, Lucky Dog Tattoos for the whole month of April, if you donate up to $20 worth of items for the shelter, they're gonna give you a ticket to enter a $300 tattoo drawing.
What a deal.
Anybody looking for that? It's just a $20 donation, you get a $300 tattoo.
Yeah, I'm not sure you got the right crowd here talking.
Oh, maybe back there.
Well, I don't know, all right, you made the announcement, but, you're looking at us. I told my kids, we got comments back, and we made some comments back to them. Most of it right now is just payment wise, so hopefully within a month we'll get that put together.
Y'all have any questions for me?
Yeah, I told my kids when they talked about tattoos that I had a belt sander. That was the purpose. Now, it didn't stop them. Yeah, didn't stop them, but, well, 3 of them it did. It didn't stop one though.
You forgot to plug it in.
He was gonna wear long pants all summer. He eventually gave in and showed us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
for what you do.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Are we going across the row? Are we going?
Yeah, I'm gonna go last, I'm gonna piggyback off these guys.
No, okay.
All right, we'll work that way.
Probably my main topic is weather,
Whether what?
weather in general.
Weather, not,
So prior to Sunday, with Matt's cooperation and assistance, I feel like we were the most weather ready we've been here in memory.
prior to Sunday, but weather, then we're back to a weather.
We had multiple, NOAA radios, weather radios, streaming multiple radars, watching multiple meteorologists, the cell phone weather apps, and we actually began communicating with the National Weather Service in live time about local weather hazards such as reports of hail, the hail size, any sort of damage that we receive. We're communicating that live with them. So leading up to Sunday, we were ready for it, and then no warnings were issued for Clark, Scott, or Jefferson counties that would have caused us to set off the sirens. Then yesterday, Wednesday and the Thursday, 3 warnings. We had a severe dangerous thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning for Scott County, and then a tornado warning for Jefferson County. On that note, just a reminder, watches are, conditions are favorable. Warning is recorded or detected by radar.
They were all over it last night
Yes.
on the radar. Sorry, I'm just, there's one.
Right. There were lots
Yeah.
of, it was a particular nasty storm. So remember, before a storm or before a tornado, make sure you have multiple ways of notification. So either whether radio, cell phone, whatever ways one would seem fit, just make sure you have multiple ways of being alerted to it. Identify safe places to shelter. And I would be in those safe places prior to the arrival of that weather.
What?
I would.
Don't wait till it gets there and then go?
Well, some people, I mean,
I understand, especially the one last night, because it was like midnight,
and you don't wanna drive to your safe place and then. the roads
Oh,
slow
you're
down.
talking about driving somewhere, I was thinking.
Sure.
Okay.
A lot of people don't have basements and
Yep.
they'll make, I'm gonna go to someone's house. Well, you may not think that a tree is down in the roadway or that there's significant flooding and you may not make it there safely. So probably be there, I would strongly advise being there before the weather hits. During a tornado, seek shelter in the sturdiest, lowest part of the building. There are plenty of diagrams out around that could help you determine that. And then after a tornado, stay out of damaged buildings, reserve phone calls for emergencies, and then stay away from downed power lines. Ultimately, the dispatchers did great with both systems that came through. Really proud of them. And we are open to any suggestions or questions on how we could be more prepared. If anyone has anything, more than welcome. One thing I found helpful was the Indiana Department of Homeland Security has a website called getprepared.in.gov. They have all kinds of plans. If you are a planner, campfires, carbon monoxide, escape plans, temperature extremes, tornadoes, floods, and on the flood note, that'll be important here a little bit. Communications plans, event safety, even workplace violence. So if you got a plan for workplace violence, you can go to getprepared.in.gov. On the flood notes, we're supposed to have a lot of rain. In 2024, 181 lives were lost to floods. Some of those were probably unpreventable, but a lot of people feel like they can drive through flooded areas. It only takes 2 feet can float most cars, and then a few inches of moving water can wash them away. So just keep that in mind. Stay out of floodwaters. They can contain waste, down power lines, or other unseen hazards. Just please make safe and sound decisions with the weather coming up. Next week I have training, April 7th through 11th, CMCP in Tennessee. So, any questions, comments?
I believe your crew did do a good job.
I agree. We're really proud of them.
Yep.
Thank you.
How about Brian?
Be real fast. So the revolving loan fund, submitted the Q1 2025 income report this morning. We started the quarter with $60,721.50. We had $3,125 come in loan repayments, leaving us a balance of $63,846.50 at the end of the quarter. We're down to one outstanding loan, so everybody's paid off except for one. Still accepting applications for the small business grant. I think the last time I counted, I think 21 applications we received so far. Excuse me. And we've got roughly 3 weeks to go before we close the window, so if you know anybody that's interested that hasn't applied yet, tell them to get it in there. Still plenty of time, so. Once we get all those, we'll stop accepting them, then we gotta go through and sort them all out and grade them and everything. So looking at $64,000 roughly we'll have to award, so pretty decent amount. Don't forget tomorrow morning, 10:30, meet with Grinsfelder Architects here. And I did contact someone about the land appraisal for the JPG property. I'll try and talk to them tomorrow, so we'll see what they got to say. It's a guy that did the jail, so tell them what I found so far. All right, any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're good, man. How you doing? Go ahead, man, I'll take you back up.
I don't know, man.
Brandon stole most of your thunder.
It's always scary. You don't leave side of me here, a little nervous. I still won't follow Trish. All that. So, I'm happy.
Excellent, that's,
Yeah.
we have hit that theme, that's good.
We have reason to be happy.
Yes.
Absolutely. 29. Was it number calls last night? No. All right, you start. So the 2 storms that came through, obviously, we were part of that, so we know. We checked 8 homes. Not many homes get damaged. There's one guy on Grand Road, half his roof got blown off. I think that might be potential probably for an F1 tornado out there, because across the field, it looked like there was quite a bit of a scatter of stuff that instead of just straight line, dropping stuff off and pick up. I've submitted that video footage from the drone to the National Weather Service, and they haven't had time to take a look at it yet, so of course it'd be a while, maybe a few days, but they know it's there. We have talked with Michael and know it's in pretty good shape there, so they're happy with getting that stuff down. I don't remember how many trees last night we got called on and all that bit. I thought I was trying to be helpful and slide in, because we're pretty close to heading to Clark County line to actually look to see if there was something coming our way. And it was close to the spot, but everybody was pretty far away from him. Pull up and guess who's there? This guy with an awesome chainsaw. And was busy at work, and we got out and didn't really help him too much, but he was there and he was on. I can't say that about the crew, man. We got us to a couple other places that people were stuck in, houses had trees down on top of them. all that bad, so it was a pretty amazing team effort to hear. Our local law enforcement guys did a fantastic job, the city, county highway, Hanover, Public Works, I mean, everybody's just, they're on it, and it's just a pretty cool thing to see, since we have to do it. It's awful that it happens, but, and these guys just get to work and they just keep on working tirelessly until it's done, and you probably could tell this morning driving down some road and stuff like that, that something had happened, but.
You were driving down the
We got
road.
shut down, all that stuff, man, they were keeping the ones open that we could keep open. And speaking of, road closures, US 421 is still closed, it's just got a little bit of work to do on that culvert replacement, State Road 56 East. I've not got an update from State Highway on that, have you heard anything from them at all?
I just know
I know
56 will be closed for a while.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
not sure, I haven't read anything today.
Supposed to start on it Monday.
I hope so,
That's what
I hope the water's low
email
enough,
I got.
and I hope
I
that
think Geotech, that sound right, gonna do it.
washed out, so.
I'm not sure.
It was I believe it was Geotech was the name, but anyway, they're supposed to start on it Monday.
Yeah, good deal. It just seemed like we're a little, maybe, I don't know, a little limited when we start shutting roads and stuff like that, about getting stuff getting out if we need to and all that. Thank goodness we didn't have any more damage than what we did last time. So, worked out all right. Let's see, there. Anyway, flooding this weekend, we're supposed to, Markland Lower, matches up with the rest of the river where the Clifty Creek gauge is like way off, seems like it's way off, because Markland Lower is, I think it was 46 or 48, earlier, and Clifty Creek runs in like the 400s. And, they tried calibrating that before, our state, liaison guy and myself talked to the flood mitigation person about trying to fix that so it matches up with everything else, and I can't believe that Markland's 54 foot deep, or 50 foot deep, and Clifty Creek's 458 foot deep, so I can't believe there's a big disparity. So I think they think there's something wrong with the sensor down there, so.
It's been that way for a while though.
Sorry?
It's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you looked at it, it was,
Yeah, so I typically look at Markland, because I know that's just spot on, and I talk with those guys, because that's what's coming down to us anyway, they just give us a heads up about stuff, so. At 53 foot, there's water on the east end and the west end of Bond Drive. And they're saying that, right now, the predicted crest is at 55.5, and that's gonna happen, Monday on the 7th at 8 AM in the morning, which puts the Clifty Creek gauge at 458.1, so, it's a little easier for me to remember the numbers, I guess. I checked Markland, and I know at 53 foot, that's gonna get up on Bond Drive. And it gets higher than that, it's gonna cover up over there and get access over the road, so. That's really kind of about all I got, other than, everybody worked fabulous last night together, I mean, and it starts with dispatch. I'd like to see how many calls come in, I called Brandon today and asked to get some numbers and stuff like that, and I didn't follow up with you to make sure that we got that done, to bring in, just so we can share that with you, because the amount of calls that come in for trees down and lines down, and then the phone calls they have to take and they have to make, and all the agencies they have to notify and all that business, they do an outstanding job, the limited number of people they have in there, and phone lines, and the number of people that are out on the road and trying to protect and get information for it and all that stuff, so hats off, number one, to dispatch. Our law enforcement guys are on it, and the highway guys are on it, and I had a good front row seat for it, so I was glad to see that machine work. So these guys do amazing things, and they work tirelessly all day, every day for us, and rarely do people see that, so. And while everybody's home cozy and they're sheltered in place locations and all that bit, these guys are out when tree limbs are falling and lightning striking and tornadoes are spinning, so hats off to them. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Follow that, pal. Well, I just gotta say, I made Matt jealous last night.
Did you have the chainsaw?
Yeah, so we bought a couple of battery-powered Milwaukee chainsaws. We're trying this out, just see how this works. They match up with all the tools that we have, everything, all our chargers. But what we ran into is several of the officers last night was pretty much dying because they had a chainsaw in their car, the gas smell, you know. And I showed them this and they was like, oh, that's not gonna do no good. Yeah, I changed their tune. So, yeah, they're pretty impressed with that. So we're gonna be I'm sure Matt's gonna be looking.
Yeah, I'm
into
volunteering
it.
to be an independent tester.
So, I was pretty impressed last night. He had me jealous though, cause he's got a pretty cool light, so
Yeah, I got a light, he's got a cool chainsaw.
yeah, so it
A
worked
team.
out great. Worked out real good.
Were you happy?
Surprised.
Surprised?
You know,
You
I
gotta
was
be,
happy.
you
I was
gotta be, gotta be
ecstatic.
happy tonight, but
I was
you can be
ecstatic.
okay.
There you go, I'll do you one better, so. You know what it is, at this time of year, we're chasing trees, we're chasing everything, you know, washouts, everything. We was prepared for it last night, the best that we can be prepared. Wow, it was just, there was a lot. Actually, I got a list here on some of it. We had, Rector Road closed with trees down and power lines. It is open now, RMC got that going. Deputy Pike was closed, lots of power lines and lots of trees. It's open now. Rogers Road, it was closed up. It's a lot of damage over that way, and they got it opened up today for sure. And then 1400 West out there towards Blotcher, it's still closed currently. They're waiting on power crews to get out there and get the lines out of that. And I beg the people that if somebody goes out there and cuts that before we get there, to be very careful with that one, because that was a pretty dangerous tree there. So without machinery being there to help with that, so. Can't brag on the crew enough, like he said, you know, they was just right on it, you know, course calling all hours of the night. And then dispatch was totally awesome communicating. I know we was in and out there, touch and go for a little bit on phone calls, trying to figure everything out. Same way Sheriff's Department, they cut a lot of trees for us last night. They was everywhere, so, you know, my hat's off to everybody on that. It was, like Matt said, spectacular, you know. And then, as far as the department goes, up to that point, you know, we've just been out getting our community crossing roads going, trying to maintain our gravel roads, replacing culverts, and just, we started a little patching, then that kinda, we had to stop on that just with weather and everything, so. But yeah, we're out there, we're going at it, so. That's pretty much all I've got. Matt, he took all my thunder, you know, so.
They're gonna.
You won't go last next time, will you? You won't go last next time, will you?
No, not no more. He's a better speaker.
Hey, I won't be so bad or good next time, but you'll have a chainsaw for a couple weeks time. Try to get out.
Yeah, don't worry, you can have her. I'll put you to work, so. But yeah, if that's something that, you know, maybe we can look into for the sheriff's department to have, maybe a couple of them. It's just, the big one I've got there is 2 batteries. It's pretty awesome. So I was very impressed last night. So that's just something maybe looking forward, that no gas, no nothing, you just keep a jug of bar oil and that's it, you know, so. But
Doesn't smell like gas, does it?
no, sir,
Overwhelm you in the car.
no. And that's, we ran into that before, you know, where you had to carry one in a dump truck with you, and it gets overwhelming. But this is something we're gonna look into to see if maybe we can find a grant or something to maybe get us a few more, you know, so. But you gotta start with a trial somewhere, and we tried it out last night, and it's pretty good. Yeah, it passed real well. But any questions? Stay happy, guys. Good night.
Ecstatic.
There you go.
Anybody from, two ladies down there on the end?
Not today.
Nothing, okay. Anybody from the public have anything? Dave, Bobby,
I'm good.
you good?
Just thankful that we dodged a bullet last
Yeah.
night.
We've done a lot of good plugs here for our people working last night, so I'm gonna stick one more in for our fire departments, as I know of 3 fire departments that were on station last night till after midnight, and these guys had to get up this morning and go to work, you know, at 3:30 in the morning to go to work, so I think they got about 2.5 hours sleep. Electric chainsaw, Milwaukee, yeah, yeah.
I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah, this is the first time we've had them, yeah, so, yeah. And there's sometimes your fire guys do limb removals and things that nobody knows about, because they're out there moving around too, so I do know of that last night. A limb or two got took off by a fire company and didn't even get a call to the 911 or so you know those things going on in our community. It's makes us all richer and better, I think. I don't think I have anything else. Although I would, one more, 1974, does anybody here remember that year, this day?
You could have went
1974?
all evening without bringing that up.
Why not? We talked about it at work today. Yeah.
I wasn't born yet.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I think I was sixth grade, but I was,
Yeah.
no, I was maybe,
This would have been a rough place to be that day.
No, there wasn't nothing here. There wasn't anything here about 4:30 after.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a debris field. The grocery, Bush's Grocery.
Yeah. But a bad
Only thing
place.
left was a train station down there in the bottom.
Would have been a bad place to be.
Yeah.
All right,
Motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
I second that.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. All right, Pat.